We've slowly increased our provision. We started off doing just 3 hours a week in a morning session with one group, and we've extended that to 3 different classes now across 3 days. So we do approximately 12 hours a week with a variety of different students. A topic that we've been doing in music recently has been all about busking. So I've been trying to take the sort of busking side of what we're doing over to the swimming pool, setting up a guitar, live instruments, microphones, and having a sort of live music going through under the water, which is something that the children experience on dry land in the music lessons, and then a sort of similar side to it over in the pool. One of the quite interesting things that we've had is, for me, I think, is students who are less vocal, non-verbalizing students who then use their voice that they wouldn't normally do outside of the swimming pool area, vocalize a lot more. That could be down in part to the music that they're hearing and singing along, where they wouldn't normally do that outside. It's a different style of listening to music underwater. And also by using, every now and again I use a microphone, a direct line under the water through the speakers, and often mimic sounds that the students are making that they then in turn hear me doing under the water, and it can create, well, it's a really good sort of motivator for them to then use their voice. So that's been very successful. We use live instruments, guitars, keyboards. We've used different sort of harped instruments with microphones running through them, and they all create really beautiful sort of sounds under the water. We use microphones, singers who have come along and done singing through the mics under the water. We also have some small vibration plate speakers that we use in plastic boxes that then create a third layer of sound, where the first one being the overhead speakers, the second one being the speakers under the water, and then a third one which is a floating one on top. And normally we have some sort of sound effect playing through that speaker. So animal sounds or construction sounds or transport vehicles, and that's in a small proximity of space that then moves around. The students can push the box around and push the sounds around. It might be a goat or a bee making that sort of sound effect going around. That's quite fun to interact with and engage with for the students. We've tried to make it as interactive as possible with the right students. For some students that's not what they're interested in. They do like that sort of passive listening, and it's become a really nice tool to get students who are perhaps sometimes more flustered and find it hard to relax. Then that sort of passive listening has been really good to aid that relaxation and for their limbs and their body to sort of calm down a lot in the water. But for other students who are much more motivated by sound, on the opposite side of the spectrum, who don't want to engage heavily in music, the pool provides a really nice environment where they're away from a big class and fellow students who might overshadow them sometimes, to then be able to have their own time with just myself, maybe one other student, and to engage actively in sort of creating sound or chasing sound around the water. So one of the resources that we've purchased is this mask. It's a diving mask, a full face one, and it allows students who are less physically abled to be able to go face down in the water, where they wouldn't have been able to do that before. So it's been incredible to have students have this first time experience, not being able to sort of control their own body movements and having to be supported all the time on their back, to all of a sudden being able to go face down in the water for the first time, to be able to see underwater, and then to have the music under there as well that they're listening to, and have very, very minimal support from myself or the swimming teacher Vanessa here. So it's a complete independence that's the children have been able to achieve, and then mixed in with the sound and the visuals, it's just quite an incredible experience for them. There's been a few students who are slightly more apprehensive of being in the water, who when they first joined the school about 12 months ago, I'm thinking of one young lady in particular who was slightly nervous about being in the water, but once she was able to get in and build a bit of rapport and trust with myself and Vanessa, she was then able to put this mask on, and then through playing her favourite songs, which were mainly sort of soundtrack songs from her favourite films, she was then able to really enjoy the sensation of her ears going under the water, which is in turn solidified this trust and rapport that we have, and we're able to achieve so much more with her in the water now.